Joining me now to discuss diversity and if diversity is actually important, America's favorite black gay veteran Republican, Rob Smith with Turning Point USA. Rob, I don't care about diversity. Does that make me weird? Does it make me a bad person? I saw all the Democrats screaming about, we lack diversity now, we lack diversity now. I mean, diversity is fine, but when did the country become so obsessed with this fact of skin color or gender or sexual preference or whatever it may be? I feel like people try to force this too much instead of just caring about liberty.
Well, here's the thing. We all should care about diversity, but we should be caring about intellectual diversity, right? So the left and the Democrats, they have this idea that diversity means a bunch of people with different sexual orientations and genders and skin colors, but that think exactly the same. And I think that this is where they lose people. And they have really kind of gone down the whole identity politics rabbit hole in that way. And I think it's really doing them a major disservice. And it's doing them a major disservice that there is no intellectual diversity on the left. That's why cancel culture is so prominent. That's why they are so quick to push everybody out from the left that doesn't think the way that they think that they're supposed to think. That's why I was excommunicated from the left. That's a big reason why I came out as a conservative Republican.
Tell me about that really quickly, because boy, did you just nail it. There is no intellectual diversity at all. I mean, that is 100% right. Tell me about this conversion you had from being a leftist.
Yeah. So the conversion I had from a leftist was basically during the 2015, the run up to the 2016 election. Number one, I just despised Hillary Clinton. I was not a Hillary Clinton fan. And also, I started feeling like as a black man, as a gay man, I was just being pandered to by the left. There was this assumption that I was supposed to think the way that they wanted me to think because I was on the left. And when I started seeing the pandering to the left from an African American standpoint, when I started seeing, by the way, after the Pulse Orlando terrorist attack, where a radical Islamic terrorist killed 49 gays and lesbians in a gay nightclub in Orlando, and the left did nothing. They said nothing. They were so afraid to not be PC that they couldn't call it out for what it is. And I started to think, why am I just on the left just because I'm black and gay? I wanted to start thinking about the issues and not thinking with my skin color or with my sexual orientation. So I did not vote in the 2016 election. I'm very open about that. And I was as afraid as everybody else on the left was at the specter of a Donald Trump presidency. But a year and a half into it, I looked at my taxes. I looked at the world. I looked at things that he was doing for immigration. In terms of securing the border. I looked at things that were going on for the economy, and I looked at so much movement within the African American community from an economic standpoint. That was when my conversion was clear. That was when I decided that the left did not have my principles anymore. This is not how I identify anymore. And I identify more with conservative leaning beliefs, with Republican beliefs and policies than I ever did with the left. And it doesn't matter that I'm black or gay or veteran or whatever. What matters is the ideas. And when I say that I'm America's favorite black gay Republican, it's turning identity politics on its head. So the point is that it doesn't matter that I am any of these things. What matters is my beliefs. And those things are not supposed to dictate my beliefs.
Rob, what is the sense you do get to whatever, I mean, however much you discuss this with people in the black community, the support for Donald Trump? And the reason I ask is, again, not because I care about diversity. I do care about voting blocks, though. And I know if Donald Trump continues to snap up at least any kind of a significant percentage of black voters, the Democrats are finished nationally. They're just finished. So is there movement, or is this some kind of conservative wishful thinking of, hey, we're going to get 15%?
Well, I really do not believe that it's wishful thinking. And when you look at the policies, and when you look at the fact that this administration and this president has made such a push for African American voters, and it's not pie in the sky, I'm going to promise you this, I'm going to promise you that. It is, this is what I have done. Look at what I have done. And when you talk to people, I get my haircut at a black barbershop in Brooklyn. When you get out into the community, people are starting to realize what's going on. They see them making more money. The business owners see these policies that are more open to them creating businesses and creating more employees and creating more work. And I think that people are starting to see this. And I think, honestly, when you look at the left, Democrats need upwards of 90% of African American votes to remain viable as a national voting, as a national party. They just do. And I don't think that they're going to get that in 2020. They didn't get that in 2016 because people stayed home. But I believe that in 2020, I don't think that 12 to 15% of the Black vote for this president is that pie in the sky. Now, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of polls that just came out, two polls in particular. One had them at 34% approval for African Americans, one had them at 34.5%. I think that that's a little pie in the sky. I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be 30, 40, 50% Black Americans voting for Trump. But I do believe that 12 to 15% is very realistic. And this administration, with the Black Voices for Trump coalition, with people like me, like Katrina Pearson, so many other prominent African American Republicans really speaking out and taking those hits, so to speak, it makes other Black people who may not feel as comfortable being as visible as we are, comfortable enough to either openly support the president or support him in the privacy of the voting booth, which is basically, that's all we need.
I think you're discounting, Rob, how important it is to Black Americans that Joe Biden got up there and told a story about confronting Corn Pop.
Corn Pop. Look, Joe Biden is Corn Pop. He's a bad man. Joe Biden is literally like I believe that he's the Hillary Clinton of 2020. He is a candidate that nobody really wants, that people are not excited about, that younger Black millennials are certainly not going for. I believe that if Joe Biden's at the top of the ticket, even though I do believe that he will be, I still believe that Joe Biden will be at the top of the ticket for the Democrats. I believe that younger Black millennials will not vote for him. And the reason that I say I believe that he's going to be at the top of the ticket is because the road to the Democratic nomination really does still go through older Black voters in the South. These are these Super Tuesday states, Georgia, South Carolina, et cetera. And these people are going to vote for old Sleepy Joe because they feel comfortable with Joe Biden, because he was the vice president to America's first Black president, and that means something to them. So I do believe that he will get the nomination. People will not show up for Joe Biden. He's not that guy.
All right, I'm going to ask you one final question, and I want you to promise you're not going to crawl through the TV and slap me for even asking it. But I always found this. I try to take a step back and analyze the Democrat field as impartially as I can, even though I despise Democrats. Why has Cory Booker never caught on? Why is he not blown up bigger? I always looked at Cory Booker, and yeah, he's a big goober. I get that. But I always thought he was a guy who actually had some charisma and would make some noise, and he just never has. Why?
I mean, first of all, I'm not going to reach out on the TV and slap you for questioning Cory Booker. I'm not a fan at all. If you've seen the viral video that I did for Turning Point, where I went up to all the candidates and asked them for cash reparations, I had an interaction with Cory Booker. Cory Booker doesn't have it. Cory Booker has never had it. Cory Booker never will have it. He's not a leader. He's not interesting. He's not somebody that moves voters. And I think going back to the identity politics, like, Jesse, if the most interesting thing about me was that I was Black, we wouldn't be talking to each other, right? I wouldn't have this platform. I wouldn't have any of this. With Cory Booker, he thinks that he truly believes that being Black is the most interesting thing about him. And you take that away, you have a really, really bland milquetoast candidate. And diversity points just aren't enough. And Cory Booker really does not connect with people. He doesn't connect with crowds. He doesn't connect with the electorates. And by the way, this man coming from the leadership position that he had in Newark, which is one of the many historically Black cities in America that are in serious trouble, that have been destroyed by Democrats, doesn't look good. So that's what's wrong with Cory Booker. And I predict that he will be the next one to drop out.
Rob Smith, Turning Point USA's very own Rob Smith. Thank you so much for giving us some time today, bud.
All right, brother. Thanks for having me.